this inefficiency translates into environmental devastation. These are, monocrop fields of genetically engineered corn and soy. We lived, my wife and I, in an RV for 17 years, traveling North America. Basically, North America has been reduced, unfortunately, to these monocrop fields where nothing is allowed to live. It's an absolute war against nature. Any birds or animals that try to live there, any other plants besides corn and soy, you kill them, right? We have herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, everything, just kill everything. So just one thing lives. That's the opposite of nature. Nature wants some kind of celebration of life happening, right? No. It's a war against nature of unmitigated scale. And so, and then all the toxic runoff of all this stuff ends up in the water, killing fishes and again, birds and butterflies and bees and everything else. We have the largest dead zone, and we have like 25 dead zones in the oceans at this point worldwide, the largest one in the entire world at the base of the Mississippi River. And so it's called nutrient-rich runoff. All the chemical fertilizers run in there and cause hypoxia, which is basically a loss of oxygen, so nothing can live. So we have these dead zones, and we have this actual behavior of animal agriculture that just requires a vast killing machine. Unfortunately, that's the basic thing. If you're going to be eating 75 million animals every day for food, then it's going to require a system that's just huge. And so this system reaches its tentacles everywhere, reaches it into our entire the fields and forests and valleys and so forth on the land, into the heart of the rainforest, into the oceans, into basically everywhere. And everything it touches, it's damaging. And I think we have to really understand that, because we don't see that. We think it all seems so benign, right? We go outside here, we leave, and we see these ads for pizza and cheese or McDonald's, different burgers and so forth. And the sense is that this is all very benign. This is what we're supposed to do. That we're good people. We like good food. And so we like ice cream and eggs and all these things. You don't see that environmentally this is enormously devastating because it's so inefficient. It requires so much grain to feed these animals, and that it's also causing the devastation of the oceans and of the rainforest. And just briefly, we're overfishing the oceans to the point where oceanographers are really concerned about the collapse of the ocean ecosystems. The large fish have been basically taken, and so we have a situation essentially where the demand for fish is so vast, because we're not just feeding fish and human beings. Scientists discovered a long time ago that it's profitable if you enrich the feed that is given to cows and pigs and chickens. So they're given fish meal. And so in the United States, for example, most people don't realize it, but cows actually eat more fish than human beings do. Even though it seems kind of absurd to see a cow jumping into a stream trying to catch a fish, but they're eating huge amounts of fish. So it makes them give more milk, it makes them fatten up faster, so it's profitable. And so we have these systems in place that are cutting down forests to grow grain, overfishing the oceans, taking all the fish out, basically, because we have such powerful fishing technology today, and also cutting down rainforests that are completely unsustainable rate. Right now, I just checked recently, the latest estimates are about, I think it's 80,000 acres a day, which is basically an acre per second. So, of rainforests is being cut down. So this is driving another thing, which is the mass extinction of species. We're losing, biologists aren't sure exactly, but 150 to 200 species every single day are going extinct. Again, caused by one thing, which is animal agriculture. The rainforests in the Amazon are being cut down in order to grow soy, primarily to feed the factory farm pigs, cows, chickens, and fishes. Factory farm fish eat a lot of soy. So underlying all of that, though, is this one behavior. This is why I want to emphasize at the beginning that when we take out our wallets, this is how we vote in our society. I don't know if the other votes are counted, but I know these votes actually get counted. And so when we take out our wallets and we vote and we pay for meat, dairy products, or eggs, we're telling the system to go ahead and cut down rainforests, take fish out of the ocean, grow corn and soy, and take huge amounts of of inputs, of water and petroleum and so forth, to get basically not very much food for that. So according to the United Nations, for example, we have a ratio of 30, they said 32 to 1, and they're very conservative in their estimates. In other words, in terms of fresh water use. So in other words, 32 people eating a plant-based diet use as much fresh water as one person eating a standard Western diet. And fresh water is becoming a huge issue. I mean, we're living now in California, and it's a huge issue, and people don't talk about it. I mean, Jerry Brown is telling everyone that we have to really reduce our water footprint. We have to conserve water. And what he doesn't say, what people don't say, what the media doesn't say, is that household use of water in California is 4% of the water. 4%, right? And so, 80% is for animal agriculture, or for agriculture, and about 50% of that is for animal agriculture. And so it takes huge amounts of water to irrigate alfalfa and other crops, and to feed to cows for dairy. It takes 1,000 gallons of water, fresh water, to make 1 gallon of milk, for example. So we're talking about massive wasting, but it's invisible. See, that's the whole point of this conference, I think, and really of understanding, is that the mass media, as well as the corporations, financial institutions, the governmental institutions, really would rather we're not aware of the ramifications of all these things, because there's a huge amount of money that accrues to the system the way it's going to a tiny elite. And